The night Daniel Carter was humiliated in front of 200 people, nobody in that luxury ballroom knew they were witnessing the beginning of a story that would destroy a powerful family's pride forever. As laughter echoed through the room, a wealthy businessman pointed directly at Daniel and said something that made the entire crowd burst into laughter. Daniel stood frozen. A tray of expensive champagne glasses trembled in his hands. His face burned with embarrassment, but he said nothing. Because sometimes the strongest people stay silent when they know the truth will reveal itself later. And what happened 6 months afterward left everyone speechless. Daniel Carter was 28 years old and worked as a waiter at one of New York City's most exclusive event venues. Life had never been easy for him. His father had died when Daniel was 14. His mother worked 2 jobs until cancer took her away 4 years later. Since then, Daniel had been alone. No family, no connections, no safety net, just endless shifts, unpaid bills, and a small apartment that barely felt like home. Yet despite everything, Daniel had something many wealthy people lacked: character. Every customer loved him, every coworker respected him, and every manager trusted him. He worked harder than anyone else because he knew what it felt like to have nothing. One Friday evening, the venue prepared for one of the biggest events of the year. The Harrison family was hosting a lavish engagement party for their daughter, Emily Harrison. The Harrisons weren't just rich. They were famous. Their real estate empire was worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Newspapers constantly featured them. Business magazines praised them. People treated them like royalty. As staff rushed around preparing the ballroom, Daniel received a warning from his supervisor. "Stay invisible tonight," she whispered. "The Harrisons are known for complaining about everything." Daniel smiled politely. Understood. But fate had different plans. When guests began arriving, the ballroom transformed into a sea of luxury. Diamond necklaces sparkled beneath crystal chandeliers. Designer suits filled every corner. Expensive watches flashed under golden lights. Daniel moved through the crowd serving drinks. Everything seemed normal, until he accidentally overheard an argument. Near one of the private balconies, Emily Harrison stood face to face with her father, Richard Harrison. Their voices were low but intense. "You can't control my life forever," Emily snapped. Richard's expression hardened. "You'll marry who I approve of." Daniel immediately walked away. The conversation wasn't his business, but those few words stayed in his mind. Because Emily didn't look like a spoiled billionaire's daughter. She looked trapped, and that was only the beginning. An hour later, something happened that changed everything. As Daniel served drinks near the stage, a guest suddenly backed into him. A glass slipped. Red wine splashed across Richard Harrison's custom-made white jacket. The entire ballroom fell silent. Daniel's heart dropped. He knew instantly this was going to be bad, but he had no idea just how cruel Richard Harrison was about to become. And neither did anyone else. For a moment, nobody moved. The red stain spread across Richard Harrison's white jacket while hundreds of eyes locked onto Daniel. "I'm so sorry, sir," Daniel said immediately. "It was an accident." Richard looked down at his jacket and then slowly lifted his head. The anger in his eyes sent chills through the room. "Do you have any idea how much this jacket costs?" he asked. Daniel lowered his gaze. "No, sir." Richard laughed. Not the kind laugh people make when something is funny. The kind that comes before cruelty. "Of course you don't. Someone like you couldn't afford a button from this jacket." A few guests chuckled. Daniel felt his stomach tighten. "I'm willing to pay for the cleaning." The crowd laughed louder. Richard turned toward the audience. "Pay for it? With what?" "Waiter money." More laughter followed. Every word hit Daniel like a punch. But Richard wasn't finished. He grabbed a microphone from the stage. "Everyone, I'd like to introduce tonight's entertainment." The room grew quiet. "This young man thinks he can pay for a $10,000 jacket." People laughed again. Daniel wished the floor would open beneath him. Then Richard reached into his wallet and threw several $100 bills onto the floor. "There." The money scattered across the marble. "Pick it up. That should take care of your rent." Gasps spread through the ballroom. Some guests looked uncomfortable. Others smiled. Daniel stared at the bills. His face turned red. His hands shook. But he didn't bend down. For several painful seconds, the room remained silent. Then Emily Harrison stepped forward. "Dad, stop." Richard ignored her. "Pick it up." Daniel looked directly into Richard's eyes. For the first time all night, he spoke with confidence. "No." The answer stunned everyone. Richard's smile disappeared. What did you say? Daniel stood straighter. I said no. The room felt frozen. Then Daniel quietly removed his waiter apron and placed it on a nearby table. You can keep your money. Without another word, he walked toward the exit. No one stopped him. But as he reached the doors, he heard Emily's voice behind him. Wait. Daniel turned. For a second, their eyes met. There was guilt in hers. And something else. Respect. But before either could speak, Richard pulled her away. The doors closed behind Daniel. He thought that humiliation would become the worst night of his life. He was wrong, because the next morning, things became much worse. When Daniel arrived home, an official letter was waiting for him. The small apartment building where he lived had been sold. All tenants had 30 days to leave. Daniel stared at the notice in disbelief. He had nowhere else to go. No savings. No family. No backup plan. And as if life couldn't get any harder, he soon discovered a shocking truth about the company buying the building. The new owner was Harrison Properties, Richard Harrison's company. And suddenly, Daniel began to wonder if this was really a coincidence. Over the next 2 weeks, Daniel searched desperately for another apartment. Every affordable place was already taken. The few available options required deposits he couldn't afford. Stress consumed him. Sleep became impossible. Yet through all the frustration, one question kept returning. Why had Harrison Properties suddenly purchased his building? The timing felt too perfect. Then something unexpected happened. One rainy afternoon, Daniel received a phone call. A woman asked him to meet at a small coffee shop downtown. When he arrived, he froze. Sitting near the window was Emily Harrison, the billionaire's daughter. Daniel almost walked away, but Emily stood. Please, just 5 minutes. Reluctantly, he sat down. I'm sorry about what happened, she said. Daniel shrugged. You didn't humiliate me. No, but I stood there and watched. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Emily revealed something surprising. My father isn't the man people think he is. Daniel laughed softly. I figured that out already. Emily didn't smile. He controls everyone around him. Employees, business partners, even family. The pain in her voice sounded real. Then she slid a folder across the table. Daniel opened it. His eyes widened. Inside were documents showing several questionable real estate deals connected to Harrison Properties. Some appeared legal, others didn't. Why are you showing me this? Emily hesitated. Because my father is hiding something. Daniel looked confused. What does that have to do with me? Emily took a deep breath. The apartment building where you live wasn't purchased for profit. Daniel's heart pounded. It wasn't. Emily shook her head. It was purchased because my father wanted to teach someone a lesson. The realization hit like lightning. Richard Harrison had targeted him. Not because of money. Not because of business. Because Daniel had refused to kneel. For the first time, anger replaced humiliation. Daniel had spent his entire life being treated like he didn't matter. But now he understood something. People like Richard Harrison only seemed powerful because everyone was afraid of them. And Daniel was no longer afraid. What neither of them knew was that Richard Harrison had already learned about their meeting. And he was preparing a move that would change everything. 3 months later, Richard Harrison believed he had won. Daniel had lost his apartment, lost his job, lost almost everything. But Richard didn't know what had been happening behind the scenes. While struggling to survive, Daniel had carefully studied the documents Emily gave him. Patterns began to emerge. Hidden companies, false property valuations, secret transfers. Millions of dollars moved through complicated transactions. Daniel wasn't a lawyer, but he knew enough to realize something was wrong. With help from a respected investigative journalist, the evidence reached federal authorities. Then came the day nobody expected. Richard Harrison walked into a business conference expecting applause. Instead, federal agents were waiting. The room erupted into chaos. News cameras appeared within hours. Television networks covered the story nonstop. The man who had spent years humiliating others suddenly faced public humiliation himself. His empire began collapsing. Investors fled. Business partners disappeared. Friends stopped answering calls. The same people who once praised him now distanced themselves. And Richard finally experienced something he had forced on countless others. Consequences. Several weeks later, Daniel received another invitation. This time, it was from Emily. They met in the same coffee shop where everything had changed. Neither of them spoke at first. Finally, Emily smiled. You were right. About what? She looked out the window. My father always believed money made him powerful. Daniel nodded. And He forgot that respect can't be bought. For the first time in years, Daniel felt peace. Not because Richard had fallen, not because justice had won, but because he had refused to become bitter. The humiliation that once nearly broke him had become the reason he discovered his own strength. Months later, Daniel launched a small property management company built on fairness and honesty. The business slowly grew. People trusted him. Employees respected him. Tenants appreciated him. He built everything the right way. And unlike Richard Harrison, he never forgot where he came from. Years later, whenever Daniel told his story, he always shared the same lesson. The people who look down on others often believe power lasts forever. But true success isn't measured by money, status, or expensive jackets. It's measured by how you treat people when you have the power to hurt them. Because sooner or later, every person reveals who they truly are. And when that moment comes, character will always outlast wealth. The rich family that once laughed at a poor waiter learned that lesson the hard way. And Daniel Carter never had to pick up a single dollar from the floor.